Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you lost? You got less than you deserved? You paid more than you should have? You agreed to something you didn't truly want, all in the name of being reasonable. You tried to meet them in the middle, to be fair, and somehow you ended up on the losing side of the deal. It happens in the boardroom when you're negotiating your salary. It happens at the car dealership. It happens in your own home, arguing over something as simple as where to go for dinner. You walk away with that sinking feeling in your stomach, replaying the conversation in your head, wondering what you could have said differently. You feel powerless, unheard, outsmarted. What if I told you that the very idea of meeting in the middle is a trap? A lie we've been sold that guarantees a mediocre outcome for everyone. What if the key to getting what you want wasn't about being more aggressive, or more logical, or even more fair? What if the secret was to understand the person across from you so deeply, so intuitively, that they practically give you what you want, and feel good about it in the process? What if you could turn every conversation, every disagreement, every negotiation into an opportunity? Not for conflict, but for connection and victory. This isn't a fantasy. This is a skill, and today, you are going to learn it. The tool we are unlocking today is a book called Never Split the Difference by former FBI lead international kidnapping negotiator. Now stop for a second and think about that title, hostage negotiator. This is a man whose daily job involved conversations where the stakes weren't just money or pride. The stakes were life and death. When a kidnapper says, "I have 10 hostages, give me $10 million, you don't say, "How about we meet in the middle? $5 million for 5 hostages? That's a catastrophic failure. Chris Voss couldn't afford to fail. He couldn't afford to split the difference. He had to get everything he wanted, all the hostages out safely while giving the other side almost nothing they demanded, and he had to do it by talking. This book is not academic theory. It is a field manual for human interaction forged in the most high-stakes environments imaginable. Voss realized that the principles that saved lives in tense standoffs with terrorists and criminals were the exact same principles that could give you the upper hand in any negotiation life throws at you. This is your masterclass in tactical empathy. This is your guide to rewiring how you communicate. This is the key to unlocking the results you've always wanted, but never knew how to get. We are going to deconstruct this masterpiece, chapter by chapter, and rebuild your mindset from the ground up. The journey we are about to embark on is structured into a powerful, sequential toolkit. First, we will learn. Chapter 1. The New Rules. Chapter 2. Be a mirror. Chapter 3. Don't feel their pain. Label it. Chapter 4. Beware yes, master no. Chapter 5. Trigger the 2 words that immediately transform any negotiation. Chapter 6. Bend their reality. Chapter 7. Create the illusion of control. Chapter 8. Guarantee execution. Chapter 9. Bargain hard. Chapter 10. Find the black swan. And finally, we will uncover the ultimate secret in Chapter 10. Find the black swan. Forget everything you think you know. The game has changed. Let's begin this journey, one chapter at a time. Chapter 1. The New Rules. What is the single biggest mistake people make in a negotiation? It's assuming the other person is rational. We've been taught to believe that negotiation is a logical mathematical process, a battle of wits and reason. Prepare our arguments, our data points, our spreadsheets. We think if we just present a logical case, the other side will have to agree. This is a complete fantasy. Chris Voss opens by telling us to tear up that old playbook. Human beings are not rational. We're emotional, irrational, and unpredictable creatures. We make decisions based on fears, desires, biases, and feelings we can't even articulate. Trying to negotiate with someone based on pure logic is like trying to build a house on quicksand. The first new rule is this: negotiation is not a battle. It is an act of discovery. The goal is to uncover as much information as possible, not to beat your opponent with arguments. Think about it this way. The old model of negotiation is like a debate club. 2 sides stand on opposite ends of a stage shouting their points, trying to prove the other wrong. The new model is like being a detective at a crime scene. You're not there to argue. You're there to listen, to observe, to pick up on clues, to understand the story of what really happened. Your most powerful tool is not your argument. It is your ability to listen. Voss calls it tactical empathy. It's not about agreeing with the other person or feeling sorry for them. It's about understanding their perspective so completely that you can articulate it back to them. It's about seeing the world through their eyes. Why is this so powerful? Because the moment someone feels truly understood, their defenses come down. The need to fight, to resist, to posture it, all begins to melt away. When they know you see their world, they become open to your influence. So, the new rules are simple, but profound. 1. Stop thinking logically. Start thinking emotionally. 2. Stop talking. Start listening. 3. Stop trying to prove your point. Start trying to understand theirs. Your life, from this moment forward, is a series of negotiations. Getting a discount on your coffee, asking your boss for a raise, convincing your kids to do their homework. Every interaction where you want something from someone else is a negotiation. And by embracing these new rules, you are no longer just a participant. You are becoming the architect of the conversation. Chapter 2. Be a mirror. How do you build a deep sense of trust and rapport with someone in less than a minute? The answer is one of the simplest and most potent techniques in this entire playbook. It's called mirroring. It works like magic. Mirroring is not what you think. It's not about copying someone's body language or posture. It can feel creepy and unnatural. Mirroring in the Voss method is simply repeating the last 1 to 3 words your counterpart has just said. That's it. It's that simple. Let's say your boss says, "I just don't have the budget for a raise right now." The old, you might argue, "But I've exceeded all my targets." The market rate is higher. The new you, the mirror, simply says, "A raise right now." And then you go silent. It's a short, simple question does 3 incredible things. First, it shows you're listening, not just hearing the words, but actively processing them. This is incredibly validating for the other person. Second, it forces them to elaborate. You have to rephrase, explain, and reveal more information. They will literally expand on their own statement without you having to ask a single question. They might say, "Yes, the queue for budget is frozen, but there might be something we can do with a performance bonus in Q1. Boom. You just found a new path forward. Third, and most importantly, it makes the other person feel in control. You're not attacking them. You're not challenging them. You're simply reflecting their own words back to them, inviting them to talk more. This builds a positive, collaborative dynamic, even in a tense situation. Think of it like this. A bad negotiator is a parrot, just mindlessly repeating things. A master negotiator is a dance partner. You are subtly following their lead, matching their rhythm, which makes them feel comfortable and encourages them to keep moving. By repeating their last few words, you are synchronizing with their thought process. "Let's try another one," your partner says. "I'm so sick of always doing all the chores around here." Instead of getting defensive, you mirror all the chores around here. Pause. Let the silence do the work. They might respond, "Yes. I just feel like I'm the only one who ever unloads the dishwasher or takes out the trash. It's exhausting." Now you have the real issue. It's not about all the chores. It's about the dishwasher and the trash and the feeling of being exhausted and unappreciated. You've moved from a vague accusation to a specific problem you can actually solve. Mirroring is your conversational Swiss Army knife. It keeps people talking. It builds rapport. It uncovers crucial information. And it does it all without creating conflict. Practice it. Use it on the barista. Use it on your family. Use it in your next meeting. Repeat the last 1 to 3 words, then go silent. You'll be astonished at what happens next. Chapter 3. Don't feel their pain. Label it. What's the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat? A thermometer reads the temperature in the room. It's passive. Just tells you what is. A thermostat, on the other hand, reads the temperature and then changes it. It influences the environment. In negotiation, sympathy is being a thermometer. You feel their pain, you get emotional, you get swept up in their story. This is a weakness. It clouds your judgment. Tactical empathy is being a thermostat. You identify the emotion in the room, and then you use that knowledge to change the temperature. You do this with a technique called labeling. A label is a verbal observation of the other person's feelings. It's not about you, it's about them. You are literally giving a name to the emotion you see or hear. You become a feelings detective. Labels almost always start with the same few words. It seems like, it sounds like, it looks like. Notice how these phrases are framed. You are not saying you are angry or you are being difficult. That's an accusation. That puts them on the defensive. By saying it seems like you're feeling frustrated, you are making an observation, not a declaration. It gives them a chance to correct you or more likely to agree. Let's go back to your boss who can't give you a raise. After mirroring, you can apply a label. A raise right now, boss. Yes, the queue for budget is frozen. You. It seems like you're in a tough spot with the budget. What does this do? It diffuses negativity. By calling out the emotion, the tough spot, you are acknowledging their reality. You are showing them that you don't just see your own problem. You see, there's two. This is incredibly disarming. The magic words you want to hear back are, "That's right." When they say that you know you've hit the nail on the head, you've built trust. Let's take it a step further. You can even label their fears to take the sting out of them. This is called an accusation audit. You list every terrible thing they could be thinking about you. Imagine you're trying to win a big client. Could start the meeting by saying, "It probably seems like we're a young company and you might be worried we don't have the experience to handle a project this big. It probably looks like we're expensive and you're concerned about the return on investment." You've just taken all their unspoken fears and put them on the table. You've diffused the bombs before they could go off. By vocalizing their negative feelings, you show them that you understand their concerns, which makes you seem trustworthy, prepared, and confident. Labeling is your emotional thermostat. It allows you to identify, acknowledge, and influence the feelings in any conversation. Don't feel their pain. Don't get sucked into the drama. Stand back, observe, and label it. It seems like you're feeling X. You will lower defenses, build trust, and gain control of the room's emotional climate. Chapter 4. Beware yes, master no. For your entire life, you have been conditioned to chase one word in any conversation. Yes. Yes feels like victory. Yes feels like agreement. Yes feels like progress. Chris Voss is here to tell you that this is an illusion. Chasing yes is one of the most common and destructive mistakes in negotiation. Why? Because most of the time, yes is a lie. Think about it. How many times have you said yes just to get someone to go away? A pushy salesperson calls you and you say yes, yes, send me the information just to end the call. You have no intention of reading it. That's a counterfeit yes. How many times have you said yes as a placeholder? Yes, let's grab coffee sometime, when you have no specific plan to do so. That's a confirmation yes. These yeses are worthless. They create the illusion of agreement, but lead to no action. Pushing for yes makes people defensive. They feel like they're being cornered into a commitment. The real word of power, the word that starts a negotiation, is no. This is deeply counterintuitive, but it is a game changer. No is not the end of the conversation. No is the beginning. When someone says no, they feel safe. They feel in control. They have protected themselves. They have drawn a line in the sand. And in that moment of safety, they relax. And when they relax, they are ready to actually listen and problem solve. No. It does not mean I will never agree. No often means, I am not ready to agree yet. You are making me feel uncomfortable. I do not understand. I can't afford that. I need more information. Your job is not to be afraid of no. Your job is to invite it, to master it. When you hear no, your reaction shouldn't be disappointment. It should be curiosity. Okay, I understand that's a no for now. What part of this doesn't work for you? Or it seems like there's something here that's making you hesitant. Think of it like this. Yes is a cheap, flimsy lock on a door. It can be picked easily and means nothing. No is a solid steel door that has just been closed. But now that it's closed, the person on the other side finally feels secure enough to look through the peephole and actually talk to you. Your goal is to re-engineer your questions to make it easy for them to say no. Instead of, is this a good time to talk? Try, is now a bad time to talk. Instead of, do you agree with this proposal? Try, are you against moving forward with this proposal? By mastering no, you give the other side the illusion of control. You make them feel safe. And you get to the heart of the real objections, which is where the real negotiation happens. Stop chasing the counterfeit yes. Learn to love no. It's the gateway to everything you want. Chapter 5. trigger the two words that immediately transform any negotiation. We've talked about mirroring and labeling. We've talked about mastering. Now we're going to put it all together to achieve the single most important moment in any negotiation. This is the breakthrough, the turning point. The moment the other person goes from being an adversary to a partner, and it is signaled by two simple words. These words are not "you're right." Anyone can say "you're right" to appease you and make you go away. "You're right" is often just another version of the counterfeit "yes." The two magic words you are fighting for are, "that's right." There is a universe of difference between "you're right" and "that's right." "You're right" is an acknowledgement of your point. "That's right" is a declaration of their own truth. When someone says "that's right," they are not just agreeing with you. They are signaling that you have understood their world, their feelings, and their problems so perfectly that they are confirming it as a fact. It's an epiphany for them. It's the sound of a key clicking into a lock. So how do you get there? You get there by using a summary. You listen. You use mirrors to get them to talk. Use labels to identify their emotions. And then, once you feel you have a deep understanding of their position, you summarize their world back to them. You combine the facts as they see them with the emotions you've labeled. Let's go back to the salary negotiation. You've mirrored, you've labeled, now you've summarized. Okay, let me see if I understand. Sounds like you are completely behind the idea of rewarding my performance and you'd love to give me a raise. The problem is you're under immense pressure from finance because the queue for budget is completely frozen, which puts you in the difficult position of having to keep your team motivated without the tools you'd normally use. All while having to answer to your own bosses. It seems like your hands are completely tied right now. Pause. Silence. If you've done it correctly, you will hear the beautiful sound of, "That's right." In that moment, everything changes. You're no longer the employee asking for money. You are the one person who truly understands the boss's predicament. You have moved from being part of the problem to being a partner in finding a solution. Once you get a "that's right," the negotiation is no longer about you versus them. It's about you and them together against the problem. This is the ultimate goal of tactical empathy. It's not about being nice. It's about being effective. It's about using a deep understanding of human nature to guide the conversation to a place where the other person, of their own free will, joins your side. Stop trying to get them to say yes. Stop settling for "you're right." Do the work. Listen, label, summarize, and wait for those two magic words that unlock everything. That's right. Chapter 6. Bend their reality. What is the most powerful force in a negotiation? Is it logic? Is it power? Is it leverage? No. The most powerful force is the other person's perception of reality. And the good news is that reality is bendable. Your job as a master negotiator is to become the architect of that reality. You set the frame. You define the terms. You bend their reality to align with your goals. One of the most effective ways to do this is through anchoring. An anchor is a piece of information, a number, or an idea that you introduce early in the conversation that sets the boundaries for the rest of the discussion. Think about it like this. When you walk into a room, the thermostat setting determines whether the room feels hot or cold. An anchor is your way of setting the thermostat for the negotiation before it even begins. Let's talk about money. The old advice is to never be the first to name a price. Voss says this is terrible advice. You should absolutely be the one to drop the first anchor, but you have to do it strategically. Let's say you're a consultant bidding for a project. You think the project is worth about $100,000? If you let them go first, they might say their budget is $50,000. Now you're anchored low. You're fighting an uphill battle to get back to your number. Instead, you anchor high, and you do it with a range. You might say, for a project of this complexity, top firms in the industry typically charge between $150,000 and $200,000. You've just anchored the conversation at a very high number, making your real target of $100,000 seem incredibly reasonable in comparison. But anchoring isn't just about numbers. It's about emotion. The most powerful emotional anchor is the fear of loss. People are statistically more motivated to avoid a loss than they are to achieve an equivalent gain. So, you don't sell the benefits of your product. You highlight what they will lose if they don't use your product. Instead of "our software will increase your efficiency by 30%, you say. It seems like you're losing out on a potential 30% efficiency gain every single day. You don't have a system like this in place. See the difference? The first is a nice do of gain. Second is an active, painful loss. Another powerful way to bend reality is to reframe the other person's power. If they say, "I'm the one with the money here. I have all the leverage," you don't argue. You reframe it. It's true. You do have a strong position. And that's exactly why you're in a unique spot to make a landmark deal that could define the future of this partnership. You've taken their statement of power and bent it towards your goal. You are the artist, and their perception is your canvas. Use anchors to set the frame. Use loss aversion to create urgency. Reframe their statements to serve your purpose. Don't accept their reality. Define it. Chapter 7. Create the illusion of control. Here's a fundamental paradox of negotiation. To gain control, you must give it away. People have a deep primal need to feel in control of their own destiny. The moment they feel you are trying to force them into a decision, their walls go up. They will resist you, even if your solution is in their best interest, simply to assert their own autonomy. The master negotiator understands this, and so they don't take control. They create the illusion of control. They make the other party feel like they are driving the car, all while you are the one holding the map and programming the GPS. How do you do this? You do it with calibrated questions. Calibrated questions are not simple yes or no questions. They're open-ended questions that are specifically designed to make the other person think, problem solve, and feel like they are in charge of finding the solution. These questions almost always start with one of two words: how or what. How and what questions are your secret weapons. They are non-threatening, they are respectful, they invite collaboration, and they subtly force your counterpart to consider the problem from your perspective and to start building a path toward your goal. Let's say a client tells you your price is way too high. You can't afford that, the amateur argues, but we provide the best value. Look at all these features. The master asks a calibrated question. How am I supposed to do that? Say it with a respectful, curious tone. How am I supposed to accept that price when it's less than what it costs us to deliver the service? This is not an accusation. It's a genuine question that invites them to solve your problem. You have just taken your problem, your price is too high for them, and made it their problem. Now they have to put on their thinking cap and figure out a way to make it work for you. You've enlisted them as your problem-solving partner. Let's try another one. Your boss promises you a promotion, but weeks go by and nothing happens. The amateur complains. You promised me that promotion. The master asks a calibrated question. What can we do to make sure the promotion process moves forward? Or how can we solve this problem together? These questions do several powerful things. 1. They give the other person the illusion of control. How and what makes them feel like you are asking for their help and wisdom. 2. They force the other person to think about implementation. It's no longer an abstract idea. It's a practical problem to be solved. 3. They protect you from being confrontational. You're not saying you are wrong. You're saying, help me understand how to fix this. The only word you must avoid when asking these questions is why. Why did you do that? Or why can't you? It's always perceived as an accusation. It makes people defensive. Place every why with a what instead of, why did you change the terms? Ask, what caused you to change the terms? Give them the illusion of control. Use how and what questions to guide their thinking. Make them the hero of the story who finds the solution. They will feel powerful and in charge, but you will be the one who wrote the script. Chapter 8. Guarantee execution. A deal is not a deal until the job is done. An agreement means nothing if it's not implemented. How many times have you shaken hands on something only to have it fall apart weeks later? The other side forgets, they get busy, or they reinterpret the terms. Victory is not a yes. Victory is execution. And as a master negotiator, you are responsible for ensuring it happens. The key to guaranteeing execution lies in the same tools we just learned. Calibrated how and what questions. But now, you use them to focus on the after. You're not just negotiating the deal, you're negotiating the implementation. Once you feel you're close to an agreement, you need to test it. You need to uncover the potential saboteurs of your deal. And these saboteurs are often not the person you're talking to. They're the hidden forces in the background. Their boss, their spouse, their lawyer, their team. So you ask questions like, How does this affect the rest of your team? How do we make sure we get the support we need from your legal department? What does your boss need to see to sign off on this? These questions do two things. They force your counterpart to think through the real-world logistics of making the deal happen, and they turn your counterpart into your ambassador. You are coaching them on how to sell your agreement to the people who have the power to kill it. The single most powerful question you can ask to guarantee execution is this: how will we know we're on track? This question is pure genius. It's not accusatory, it's collaborative. You're asking them to co-create a system of success. It forces them to define what success looks like, to set milestones, and to establish a process for checking in. You are building accountability directly into the agreement. Another critical technique is to get them to summarize the deal in their own words. At the end of the conversation, you can say, to make sure we're on the same page, can you just quickly tell me what we've agreed to here? When they articulate the terms themselves, it solidifies the agreement in their mind. It's no longer your idea that they agreed to, it's their plan. Never assume a deal is done just because you got a yes. Be the master of the follow-through. Use how and what questions to identify and disarm the hidden forces. Ask, how will we know we're on track? To build in accountability, get them to summarize the deal in their own words. A true master doesn't just close deals, they ensure they get executed. Chapter 9. Bargain hard. Sooner or later, every negotiation comes down to the numbers. The price, the salary, the terms. This is where most people get emotional, reactive, and make terrible mistakes. They either concede too quickly or get locked into a battle of wills and blow up the deal. Chris Voss provides a system, structured, disciplined approach to bargaining that removes the emotion and maximizes your outcome. It's called the Ackerman model. Think of it as a strategic, cascading series of offers. It's not about haggling. It's about a psychologically precise dance. It has 4 main steps. Step 1. Set your target price. This is your goal, the price you'd be thrilled to get. Let's say you're negotiating a salary and your target is $110,000. Step 2. Your first offer is 65% of your target price. Wait, what? Offer less? No, this is what you anchor with if you are the buyer, if you are the seller. Like in a salary negotiation, you do the reverse. You set your first offer at a very high anchor. Let's say your target is $110,000. Your first ask should be significantly higher. Let's aim for a high but not absurd number. Be $135,000. This is your extreme anchor. It recalibrates their perception. Step 3. Plan your next 3 offers in decreasing increments. This is the heart of the model. You don't just pull numbers out of thin air. You plan your concessions. After they reject your initial anchor of $135,000, your next 3 offers will be smaller and smaller retreats. This sends a powerful psychological message. You are nearing your limit. So your offers might look like this. First offer. I'm looking for a salary of $135,000. They will likely counter much lower. Let's say they offer $95,000. Second offer. You come down significantly, but not all the way. I understand the initial number is high. I could potentially come down to $125,000. Third offer. After more discussion, you make a smaller move. This is getting tough, but I could make $118,000 work. The jump from $135 to $125 was $10,000. The jump from $125 to $118 was only $7,000. They feel you're running out of room. Fourth offer. This is your final move and you make it precise. You say, look, the absolute lowest I can go is $112,500. I can't go a penny lower. Step 4. Use non-monetary items to sweeten the final offer. As you make your final offer, throw in something that is of low cost to you, but high value to them. At $112,500, I would need an extra week of vacation, or I would need a commitment for a performance review in 6 months. This shows that you are at your absolute limit on the money and have to find value elsewhere. The precision of the final number, like $112,500 instead of $112,000, also signals that you have carefully calculated your bottom line and have no more room to move. The Ackerman model is a system that replaces emotion with strategy. It makes your opponent feel like they fought hard and got a great deal, while guiding them directly to a number that is at or above your original target. Plan your anchors. Plan your concessions. Use precise numbers. And throw in a non-monetary item at the end. This is how you bargain hard without ever losing your cool. Chapter 10. Find the Black Swan. In the world of negotiation, there is information. And then there is information that changes everything. Chris Voss calls this game-changing information a black swan. The term comes from the old-world belief that all swans were white. For centuries, this was considered an undeniable fact, until one day an explorer in Australia discovered a black swan. In an instant, a single piece of information shattered a deeply held belief. In any negotiation, there are black swans hiding in plain sight. They are the unknown unknowns. The pieces of information that, if you could discover them, would completely change the leverage, the strategy, and the outcome of the entire negotiation. Finding black swans is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most curious and the most observant. It's about listening not just to what is being said, but to what is being hinted at between the lines. How do you find them? You pay attention to surprises? When your counterpart says or does something you did not expect, don't dismiss it. Get curious. That surprise is a doorway to their hidden world. Why did they say that? What does that reveal about their true motivations or constraints? You leverage your own humanity. Share a piece of personal information. Be a little vulnerable. Sometimes when you reveal something about yourself, it makes the other person feel safe enough to reveal a hidden piece of their own story. This is not about oversharing. It's about a strategic show of humanity to build a connection that uncovers deeper truths. You dig into their worldview. What are their beliefs, their religion, their identity? Not to judge them, but to understand them. A person's worldview dictates their hidden motivations. Someone who deeply values their reputation in a community will be motivated by very different things than someone who only cares about the bottom line. A black swan could be anything. It could be the fact that the tough as Nails CEO you're negotiating with is desperate to close the deal before the end of the quarter to hit a bonus target. It could be that the person selling their house isn't motivated by the highest price, but by finding a family they believe will love the home as much as they did. It could be that the opposing lawyer in a lawsuit has a deep-seated fear of going to trial. It's giving you immense leverage to settle out of court. These are the hidden levers, the secret back doors. They're the pieces of information that allow you to move from a 50/50ths negotiation to a 90/10ths victory. The search for black swans is the final evolution of a master negotiator. It transforms negotiation from a linear process into a three-dimensional exploration of human psychology. Always be curious. Always be listening. Because the one piece of information you uncover might be the one that changes everything. We have been on a journey. We started in a place of frustration, of feeling powerless in the most important conversations of our lives. We operated under old rules, believing that logic would win arguments, and that splitting the difference was fair. We have shattered those illusions. You now possess a toolkit that has been tested and proven in the most extreme circumstances imaginable. This is not a collection of clever tricks. This is a profound shift in your understanding of human connection. You've learned to be a mirror, to build instant rapport and encourage others to reveal themselves. You've learned to label emotions, to act as a thermostat that can change the temperature of any room. You've learned to master no, turning rejection into the start of a real conversation. You know how to get to, that's right, to breakthrough moment when you and your counterpart become partners against a problem. You can bend reality with anchors, create the illusion of control with calibrated questions, and guarantee execution to make sure your victories stick. You have a strategic plan to bargain hard, and you have the mindset to find the black swan, the hidden information that changes the entire game. Chris Voss didn't just write a book about negotiation. He wrote a book about life. Because life is negotiation. It is a continuous series of interactions where you want to be understood, you want to be effective, and you want to shape your own destiny. These tools are not about manipulation. They are about empathy. They are not about winning at someone else's expense. They are about creating solutions and building relationships so strong that people want to help you. It's about getting what you want in a way that makes the other person feel respected, understood, and positive about the outcome. The power is now in your hands, but knowledge without action is useless. The question is no longer can you do this? The question is, will you? Will you have the courage to try a mirror in your next conversation? Will you dare to label an emotion in your next meeting? Will you be brave enough to ask, how am I supposed to do that, the next time you're put in a tough spot? This is your masterclass. This is your new playbook. Your life is the negotiation. Go out there and start winning. If this deep dive has sparked a change in how you see the world, let me know in the comments below. What was the one chapter, the one technique that resonated with you the most? Sharing your insights helps us all learn and grow together. And if you want to continue mastering the skills that shape your life, make sure you subscribe. We've only just begun.